This works out absolutely perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. All right, one sec. Hello, welcome to Streamer Fails. We're going to fail a lot today because we're talking about streamer fails. Hi, everyone. My countdown timer didn't work, but it is amazing to have you all hang out with us here today. Be sure to drop a Q and a colon in any of your questions if you want to flag a question over to us. But I am here doing a special Meet the Ecamm fam today. We are going to be talking all about all of the ways, like 5 seconds ago, you can fail while you're live and how to overcome all those failures. We have Val and Tatiana hanging out with us today. And before we jump all the way into it, if you have been hanging out with us in the Ecamm fam and participating in Customer Appreciation Month, we appreciate you, and we're doing an absolutely gigantic, incredible, amazing giveaway. You can learn more about it at Ecamm, ecamm.tv/giveaway23. And all of our live streams have secret codes. So grab a piece of paper or a pen or screenshot this or jot it down. But the secret code for this show is Team Meet the Fam. Team Meet the Fam, all one word. I don't think it has to be caps, but Team Meet the Fam, all one word, is how you get an additional 5 bonus points. We are giving away a brand new Apple computer, a Switch Pod, Streamer X, a ton of stuff. It's just ridiculous. The amount of stuff is ridiculous. I'm going to be in huge trouble, I'm sure of it. But make sure that you are signed up and getting all of those bonus points and drop this code in because you are here. The giveaway is bananas, as David is saying. So don't miss your chance to win big with us this month. It doesn't end until the end of the month. So you have lots and lots of opportunities to grab all of the secret codes and all of the bonus entries and all that great stuff. It's been amazing getting to see everyone's studio photos, everything in between. All right, I think I'm now feeling calm following my fail, so I'm ready to bring on the rest of the team. I have Tatiana with me. I have Val with me. I have to remove my secret code. Hey, I don't even know what happened. So before we jump into it, I now have had 2 fails today. Just for you, just for the show. I had first the internet completely went down and we were running a code and circuit summer camp here in the office. So I can't easily even get in and access where our internet is because there are kids everywhere. And then 2, everything went wrong. And I even went through my scenes, but my intro didn't go off. But the music went and my confused face came on camera. So you're welcome. There are my fails, submitting them live for you both to review.
Oh my gosh.
Now I have to add one little bit of tech difficulty right now because I'm hearing Katie, I'm hearing you twice and I have an echo going on. I'm not sure if it's behind the scenes, but everything is echoing for me. So nothing is going to make any sense in my mind. Right now.
Do you want to hang up and call back in again? Val, are you hearing an echo?
I don't.
Or doubled audio? Fine. Okay, Val and I will hang out while Tatiana hangs up and calls back because we're troubleshooting. And while I'm at it, we can go through an intro, everyone. we have Dan hanging out with us. It looks like Paul is here as always. I'm loving all these comments. We have Maggie. We have Terrence from Tokyo. That's crazy. We're so excited you're here. Yeah, why are you still up at 2 a.m., Terrence? That's incredible. We have Parker hanging out. We have Tanaya's here. Yvette's here. Oh my goodness, everyone is hanging out with us. Dragon, how are you today, Val? Other than your glasses fail.
I have to do one thing.
Okay.
Because my girl Maggie is here, so I have to say, Maggie Rose. That's her song. Every time I see her name.
Oh my goodness, jealous.
Can we have so many fails in a 2-minute time talking about fails? Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't find my glasses. I took them off so that I could do something. Then I couldn't find them. So I was looking all over the place. And then I put these on and I told the ladies, I said, I can't find my glasses. And Katie said, well, you have about 15 minutes.
On your face.
I said, okay, so I'm looking.
Yeah, I was
they're
right
they're on your
head,
face. I said, these are the wrong ones. So I still can't see, but it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
How's it going,
Can I
Tatiana?
tell the story of how all of this got started? Because it
let's
relates to the t-shirt that I'm wearing. So what's up, everybody? some of you guys know that I was on a winning streak, right? You all know that, especially on ENN, I was like on fire, which has never happened to me ever in my entire life. But I was winning a lot of stuff, and this is one of the shirts that I liked, especially because it's got the ladies fit, Katie. So I love those style shirts. I get the shirt, and the first day that I'm wearing it, I do a live stream and I end up muting myself. So I made a post on LinkedIn. I made a post on social media saying like this t-shirt has a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I think Katie, both you and Val chimed in on it. And once you guys commented on it, I thought we need to do a live stream about all of our failures as streamers, because we've got to normalize mistakes.
Yeah.
We've got to laugh at ourselves, especially for those of us like myself, recovering perfectionists, no longer perfectionists, but in the recovery zone. It's like you just gotta learn to roll with all of it. And I know how intense it can feel, especially when you're starting out.
Yeah.
To make those mistakes, like the fear factor. So I thought, let's just get together and talk about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And do me all a favor, everyone, right now, hang out in the comments. If you have had one of these things happen to you, I know some of you sent stuff in, but not all of you, and I know all of you have been through it. Share those stories, share them in the community, share them, post them here in the chat if you want to. But I think it's, like you said, Tatiana, it's so important for us to know that like it happens to everyone, no matter how professional you are and no matter how long you've been doing this, it's going to continue to happen. What's really important and what we hope you get out of this stream is that it happens to everyone. And also there are ways to deal with it that are going to make you better at this, make you feel better about what happens when things go wrong, and just like let go of some of that stress, because it really can affect your mindset and how the overall video performs beyond the actual like fail itself, right? So it's really important to know that you're not alone in it, and to know that there are things that you can do to get through it, and that you don't need to do what my favorite original thing was, which is just be like, well, the internet's not working, so we're not doing the show. Or like, oh no, everything's going wrong, so I'm turning off the show. Like that's your panic reflexes, just to be like, well, throwing in the towel, I'm giving up. Don't give up. It's going to happen. It's going to keep happening, and there are ways to get through it. So I'm so glad we're doing this, because
I was going to give up today, so
really. Val's just going to rage quit in a couple of minutes, but it's going to be fine.
I'm done.
And notice how we're matchy, right, Val? You got the same shirt.
Because I have a story to tell about that. But yes, I am wearing my "You're on mute." It was just appropriate. But I don't know if you're going to share the story, so I don't know how much I should say, because there was one I told you about when I was showing something.
Yes. Well, let's hold off that one to the end.
Okay.
That is going to be a good story. So I would like us to close out with that, because it's be like the most embarrassing for all of us, something like that.
Why do I have to be the most embarrassing? Oh my God.
You're the performer, Val. You have to take front and center. But
I'm ready. Let's go. I'm already scared of this. Okay.
Here are our categories, right? When we're thinking about this, we divided them into audio, because that seems to be the most common. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about videos. We're going to talk about, and video including all visuals and graphics, and audio including all sound issues. Then externals are things like your pets, your family, somebody rings it, anything that's in the external environment that creates an issue, even like the internet.
Yep.
Then specific to interviewing, some things that can go wrong when we're interviewing, and mindset, which is just such a powerful one. And if we have time, or maybe even just sporadically, we're going to chat about some miscellaneous
random
type of
fails.
Yeah. So these are our 5, possibly 6 categories that we're gonna talk about. And we got so many people, thanks Val, who commented from the community, especially from the Ecamm live community,
the Ecamm
Academy community.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then also I posted asking people in the Facebook and Discord for Ecamm, and I did have 2 really nice people share about that. Roz Boundy and William Mulan, they both actually shared some stories. And for Roz, it was an audio one. And for Will, he just mentioned that he had so many things go wrong that he would have to just send 20 million videos over. So just want to give a shout out to the 2 of them for mentioning that. So are you ready to kick off with some audio mistakes?
Let's kick it off.
All right, here's the first one.
FX3 or A7S3. I'm like A7S3 all day because of the EVF.
Like you can get like everything that you can get out of the FX30 might not be as convenient, but at the end of the day, the image quality and the image file codec and everything is identical.
So
I had to fight not to laugh at that one. We love you, Luis. For those of you who don't know Luis, he's our video editor, and he is the producer for our podcast, The Flow. And it's a good one. It's a good one.
That's hilarious.
I watched a live stream with Diana Gladney, and she did that on purpose, and I was peeing my pants. So to have it done by accident is even funnier.
Yeah.
But
Oh my God.
it's one of the like higher level mistakes because it means you have to have a Rodecaster or something else to make those sound effects. So, but
well, it used to be
happens to
too,
everybody.
Tatiana, that on the road, because I would do this thing. I would do my character was Goldie. So Goldie would talk like this. You know, the voice is really high and stuff. And then they put it on the Rodecaster. So I was like, man, I can't do that anymore. It's in the Rodecaster now. So there you go.
You pulled it off just fine right there. Maybe we over-engineer sometimes and overthink about it. Oh, I love it.
Awesome. Well, we have so many audio mistakes. This is something that happens to all of us. Like the t-shirt says, and let's show the typical mute issue, right? So here's one for you.
Hi, Jamie.
We can't hear you.
There you go. Can you hear me
There
now?
you go. Yes, we can.
Typical, you're muted, nobody can hear you kind of a situation, right? Again, this one happens to all of us. And here's one. This one is a higher level one because it involves groups. So check this one out.
Now Valerie is muted. Do you still hear echo? You guys say something.
I don't hear you in echo.
Yeah. Paul is echoing with me.
Yeah, Paul's not echoing
and
with
Jamie,
me, but you did.
And Jamie are echoing with me.
This is crazy.
I wouldn't even know what to do in that situation. This is like out of my area of understanding. And I've said audio is still something I'm working on, but to have some people have echo, other people don't have echo, it's like that is a problem.
What's really... Yeah, I was going to say what's really important about those kinds of situations, which I'm like love that this is an example of, is that no one gave up or got, like, audio can be incredibly frustrating, not only because it's like kind of gut wrenching where you're like, oh no, something's like obviously very wrong, but also because it's not easy to troubleshoot through, right? You can't hear the other person, or potentially you're hearing the other person twice, or there's like, it makes it difficult or painful to kind of have that communication flow. But you'll notice in that example, like everyone kind of stayed calm. They were each taking turns saying like what they were hearing or not hearing. Doc will laugh at us because everyone uses the word echo, and probably that wasn't what was happening. It was probably doubled audio or different things. But working through it and kind of staying calm and thinking logically about it, it's not as scary or like complicated as it seems. Usually it's pretty logical. Like if someone's hearing you twice, the audio is coming, out twice somewhere. So like either someone else has like an open tab playing the audio, or, so there are steps you can take to kind of work your way through it, right? Everyone can mute and unmute. Everyone can, work their way through it. But you need to figure out like how to take those steps. So maybe it's staying where they were, like in that space there, or it is getting on a separate, phone call or text chat or Slack chat or Facebook space where you can type through or talk through what's going on while you keep it open to be able to work through it. But the important thing is to kind of pause, keep calm, and talk through what everyone is hearing or not hearing so that you can figure out where those pain points are to solve them. And that's I think the hardest part is like staying calm and figuring it out.
Yes. And when you're starting out, it's hard to know the terminology.
Mm-hmm.
Doc will say it's almost never going to be an echo. I think he put that in the comments too. Like it's actually not an echo to our brain. It sounds like an echo, but echo would need to echo. What did he say? At least 5 or 6 times. So echo, echo. Right? That would be echo.
Yeah, exactly.
But what happens to most of us is we're hearing the same thing twice. The second time is slightly lagged. Right?
Yep.
So, and even today, when we did tech rehearsal today, no audio problems, nothing. Then when we go live, I'm wearing in-ear monitors because I want to eliminate any and all problems with audio issues, but I'm still hearing it twice. So my brain can't handle that, right? We just can't think when we're hearing things twice. And it turned out that I guess at some point I had Ecamm Live's YouTube page open on a tab from a different day. And so that's what I was hearing, is that when you hit the go live, Katie, somehow it automatically started playing. Like I didn't go to Chrome and play it, but it was playing. So once I checked everything on my computer, saw that was open, and that's where it was coming from, especially because none of you guys could hear it, only me. So it's clearly a problem on my end. So able to fix that on the fly too.
We have, and we have that a lot in the Academy. When we go through those sound check sort of things, that's one of the first things we'll ask everybody to check. When they come in on interview, we always ask them, do you have your Facebook muted, or is it open? Because you'll always hear it coming back. And like you said, with YouTube, so if you're doing interview especially, then you want to make sure those tabs are closed or muted.
Yes. Right. Close anything that's not necessary.
Exactly. And it really is. And same as you, Tatiana, I'm still like actively learning a lot about it, and, working to try to get better at the entire thing. But so much of it too is visual. Like again, because you are hearing or not hearing things, you're trying to like close things. You're like, can you hear me now? Can you do, you're trying to like quickly solve things, usually because you're up against, you're running late, or people are waiting, or people are listening and it's an unpleasant experience for them. So you're trying to solve it quickly. And I feel like what we really forget a lot of the time is visually looking at the indicators, which is, again, like an obvious thing, but in a moment of panic, it's not something you think about. So again, when you're solving these kinds of issues or any kind of audio issues, try to really think about it yourself, and really have the people who are with you think about what is actually happening. Like, are you hearing it twice? Are you hearing it 3 times? Who are you hearing doubled? Is it me that you're hearing? Is it yourself? And then look at the visual indicators. I've had issues where I've been hearing doubled audio, and Luis or Doc has been like, what are you seeing in the interview panel in Ecamm? Like what? And it's like, oh, I see 2 lines, or I don't see any audio coming through there, but I see it, elsewhere. Like, hunt down where those visual indicators are, as well as what you are hearing or not hearing, because that's why they're there. And we immediately forget that. We're just like in panic mode. Yeah.
Yep, for sure. Let me show you a couple more audio examples. And I'm loving all the comments in the chat coming in. So I knew this one was going to be the most common. It happens to all of us the most. Here's a short clip, and tell me, guys, can you relate to this when you're either recording or going live?
Hi everyone, my name is Chip Noise. Oops.
I don't even know what I said. What is a chip noise? I don't.
I think you made did you make like a crunkle with like a chip bag? Was it like a sound?
I have no idea. My hands were up here, so I didn't do anything with my hands. It's like, I don't know what happened.
The funny part to me,
I don't know what happened.
The funny part for me is you're like, my name is, and then it was like, you didn't know what your name was.
My name is, it's on the screen.
Oh, the timing of it was absolutely brilliant. One of these years or days or weeks or what have you, I'm going to, every time I record a video now, there's been a very like noticeable flip in my like confidence on camera. Like when I first started at Ecamm, I was like, oh, I can record videos, or I can speak on a stage, or like I have like a decent level of confidence in presenting. I have a theater background, like I'm okay with that. And I don't want to do live video because live video is scary and there are people there, and I hate that. I don't want to do that. And then the more comfortable I got on live video, now every time I have to like record a video to submit for, a presentation or an event that I'm doing where they want like a sample of the video, I do that exact thing, Tatiana. I'm like, I record the video and I'm like, I go through like my intro that I've memorized or that I have like notes on, and I screw it up. And I have probably 50 plus clips of me just being like, hey, it's Katie. I'm the director of marketing at no. or it's like a series of swearing and then it cuts out, or it's like, or I start talking and I get there and I realize that like the point that I was making was like not at the right point that I wanted to make, or it's just tons of me completely forgetting to use the pause button and just like ending the recording, being like, out of here. Yeah. Well, so
as a total side note, that's why I love live more than pre-recording. If I'm doing it alone, because whatever happened. There isn't this, oh, mistake, start and stop, start and stop. The other philosophy I like is chunking it if you're pre-recording, is just think about the introduction. Don't think about everything else.
Yeah.
But even that, I'll start and stop. So for me, I really prefer any opportunity to go live, because if I made a mistake, oh well, moving on.
Yeah. Well, the same thing in my industry. I mean, for those who don't know, I'm a singer. I'm a vocalist. And
oh, sing for us, Val. Sing for us, please.
Oh no, I couldn't ever. No, but seriously. But what happens too, if I'm recording, if especially during the when we had our shutdown time, people would send me tracks, so I would sing, do the background for the tracks or whatever, and it would take me kind of forever, because now I'm gonna make sure every note is what I need it to be and everything, and then but when I go to their studios, when they call me and I go there, I get it done in like 15-30 minutes.
Yeah.
Here is 24 hours, but there is 30 minutes, because it's just all set up. You're only going to do what they're telling you to do. But if I have to record it myself, I'll record it over and over and over and over. It's kind of, that was echo over and over and over.
over. That was actual real echo.
Well, or should we say delay? Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I know we got to get this terminology straight, or Doc's going to crack a whip on us. But one mistake that I know I've made a lot too, same, because I'm just not there with audio just yet, is my microphone volume will be at a certain level. I'll share a video and the level of volume of the video is just so low in comparison.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't know how to fix it. I guess looking at the sound levels in Ecamm and trying to get it to the same number would be, but in pre-testing it all, making sure that's that. So I know that's something that happened to me, but I have one more example to show you guys, which has to do with the Paul Duncan. So let me show you guys.
Sorry, Paul.
I've been known to do things wrong occasionally. Yeah. Well,
this is so good.
That.
So when you can hear everything because you're doing the broadcast together, but the other person, and I actually don't know if you can hear my doggy howling right now at this moment. That's Dewey, everybody. He, 14-year-old Westy, who forgets sometimes that he's not alone and starts howling, or maybe it's a pack thing. I don't know. Maybe it's an instinct thing. But we were talking about your somebody mutes you and has no idea, because like when we're live on Ecamm, the three of us now behind the scenes, we can hear each other. So if somebody couldn't hear us, we wouldn't know that if it was not being heard on the broadcast. So that's another funny little audio situation there.
Absolutely.
Well, when we found out, though, what was interesting is because I was traveling at the time, and he and I were just having a conversation because no one was there on the stream yet. So we're waiting and talking, and then finally AG happened to come into the stream and said, "Hey, I can't hear Val." But we had been on there for 20 minutes, just shooting the breeze. So, that's the thing. Sometimes when other people come, they actually will tell you what's going on or actually let you know. But that was kind of crazy right there.
Yeah.
We did fix it, though. It was fixed after. It was actually a roadcaster issue.
Yeah. So it's one of those things too. And this one's a little bit tricky, this specific example, because if you're live streaming that, inevitably someone at some point is going to say, hey, we can hear Paul, but we can't hear Val. You might want to wait for, and this is hard for us people who just want to make it perfect, but you might want to wait for more than one person to say those kinds of things, because sometimes the issue isn't on the stream's end. Sometimes the issue is on the person listening and the individual who's in the chat. So, Doc has a great rule, which I think we should all live by, wait for a couple of people to say that in the comments before you panic or hopefully react without panicking. But before you react, wait for a couple of folks to say that, because, volume levels or things that are fully muted or any of those kinds of things may not be you. maybe how people are consuming it. So that one probably, I guess, wouldn't have been, but these are good ways to kind of get into the habit of training yourself to know how to react to what people are saying in the comments. And when I assure you, if people can't hear you, more than one person will say it. If that's
Right.
the case.
And I try when I'm in the comments for folks, I try to say that quickly so that or no, I hear you just fine, or yes, I can't hear you, whatever it is, just so that people know. You're getting that confirmation from folks.
Yeah, exactly.
And, too.
And another thing to be careful of too is if everybody says you're muted, you're muted, you're muted, you're muted, and then the person didn't see it, but then it got fixed, and then they saw that it was muted, then they're wondering, then they have thinking, am I muted? Yeah.
You got to remember the delay of a live stream. So like, yeah, if you remind yourself, if you're scrolling like back in the comments and you only see that way back, then yeah, you've probably already solved it, whether you realized it or not.
And I'm laughing too because Eden in the comments, hi Eden. Eden said, I thought it was a baby about the howling. So I think that's pretty funny. Imagine if it wasn't. I'm just like leaving a baby in another room.
Happens. Yeah. No babies are harmed in the making of this video.
No, I don't have a baby. But Doc makes an interesting point that when sounds like that happen, dogs or kids crying, he thinks it's best to keep going and not mention it. We all know and probably don't care, but breaking the flow of information can sidetrack the brain, keep it moving. And I agree in part with that, Doc, because I think if it's a quick thing, like if Dewey had just howled once, ignore, keep it moving. But because it was ongoing, I think it's one of those things that is multi-purpose. It adds some laughter, it adds some imperfection that people can kind of connect to that too. And if we had just moved on, then Eden would have been able to make the joke about it being a baby. So sometimes acknowledging it helps too. So I think it does depend on the situation, but most of the time, little small things, you can just keep it rolling, like you're saying, for sure.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to video issues that we all have?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Okay, here's a common one. This one's for me. I'm still learning the lesson here. But see if you can pick up what the mistake was. See if you can pick up exactly what happened. Here we go. Finding the one that resonates with you is really important. And Aubrey, yes, our voice can be a powerful instrument. I'm glad that you agree with that. And 100%. All right. So what do you guys think the mistake, and you all, if y'all done it, I know it. What do you guys think the mistake was in that one that I made? I know we got to give it a few seconds for people to catch up to us with the. So is it a delay when because we are streaming? By the time people see it, that is a delay, right? That's the accurate term.
It's a delay. Yep. And the first person says Zoom, not Zoom the app, but Zoom the zoomed in.
Yes, JJSC Tech, ding 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 ding, you win. That is
and Paul follows up with the follow up additional thing. We didn't lock your scene. Locking and unlocking scenes can sometimes trip you up. Like it's one of those things you need to do or should do, I guess, is the best practice. But sometimes it can it can trip you up one way or the other. It's like if you forget to lock it, you can do things like accidentally zoom you. Sometimes though, when you do lock it and then you need to make a quick change, you're like, why can't I make this change? So it can be a double-edged sword there.
Yeah, I've experienced all of that because I would call myself like an advanced beginner in Ecamm and in going live. I only started doing this in November. So everything you just said, 100% I've experienced. Even today I was like, oh, let me lock it up because I'm going to mess it up. Lock it up before you mess it up. That will be a new thing.
And I still mess it up. So there you go.
Yeah, same.
And then it keeps happening. All right, here's one. And I don't know Catherine, but I got to say that I love her.
Oh, we love Catherine. She's in the academy.
She's in the academy, Val. Thank you so much to you for inviting Catherine to share this video and for Catherine for sharing it, because to me, she verbalizes what we're all thinking when this stuff happens. So here's a little cut of some of the issues with her.
How do you do, boys and girls? I hope I'm live. Yeah, we've had technical difficulties. Let me just check real quick. Am I live? No, I'm not. I'm live somewhere. Help me. I screwed up. But I'm here. Let me just get myself, it's been a hot minute and a month of Sunday since I've been here, so let me just see where I am. Oh, you would do this to me, wouldn't you? Yes, you would. You would? I hit the button and it doesn't work now. Excuse me just a moment. This is awkward. I have to go underneath the table, unplug the Elgato pedal, and plug it back in because it's not working. Excuse me. Technical difficulties. Gonna fix it. Be right back. Okay. Please work. Please work. Please work. You know what? I was hitting the wrong button. Everything's fine. Money. I'm all right.
I just love it so much.
Her mindset in that is awesome though, because she's so like, she stays pretty calm. You can tell she's like upset about it, but she's just like, it's fine. I'm fine. Everything like she's reminding herself it's not that big of a deal, even though it's like, and she's finding the humor in it too, which is, I think, just so important. So she's a great mindset example too.
Oh, Catherine is the best. Absolutely.
It was like being inside her head and in the moment of everything. It's like, I'm fine. I'm fine. No, it's fine. Awkward. This is going to be awkward. I have to go under the desk right now. Oh, never mind. I was actually hitting the wrong button. Catherine, that was so good. Thank you, because it was honest, and I'm laughing with you.
Oh no, she knows.
Certainly
she knows.
have made all of those mistakes, but man, that was so good. That was
Thank
so
you,
good.
Catherine.
Oh, so absolutely amazing.
Here's another one specific to scenes and managing scenes and just all of the navigation of Ecamm that has to happen when we're doing this. This one's from Ramona.
What I've accomplished so far. I'm going to change scenes and we'll just, okay. So here's my intro, while you're waiting, blah, blah, blah. We'll be back. We'll be starting real soon.
Yeah, if you're showing scenes, we're not seeing anything. We're just seeing you.
Oh, okay. I have messed up. Let's resume this another time then.
Let's reschedule, please.
Let's reschedule.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, let me say one thing about Ramona. That was Ramona's that was her first time through Adrian's Ecamm Live Academy. And that was her first time coming on live, because we always invite people, hey, we're doing interview mode stuff, so come on in if you can, and we'll work it out. And so immediately when she came in, there was an issue. So we worked that out. But what happened, she hung on there for a minute and she said, you know what, let's do this again. And so what happened at the end, we just said, look, you hang on here. We're going to close the session out because we were already over an hour. And we're going to get with you for a few minutes and we're just going to work it out, because it was only like a few minutes that it needed. And so when we were finished with our live, we did that with her. It was fixed and it was done. But what I commend her for is this is her first time around. And so she was just working it out. And part of that is because we have our Ecamm family, we support each other and we help people through everything. So it's okay to be scared and nervous. Like I was screaming before I came on here, I don't want to do this. But but the thing is, she's gotten so much out of it, and she tells us that all the time, that if it wasn't for what we were doing in there, she might have quit already. So that's what we do. We all help each other.
Yeah, and
That's
there's
the beauty
something
of the community, people chiming in, practicing. Like, let's make all the mistakes with each other before we go live.
Yeah, there is, and again, we try really, really hard to make both the Facebook community as well as the Discord spaces safe places where you should be able to get to know other members, ask for people to join, and if you've never done an interview before, or you've never, set up scenes before, or you've never, whatever it is that you are struggling with or that you want to learn more about, there's likely someone else or probably multiple other people within those spaces that want to learn that too, or that, that would just love to practice with you or get to know you better. So there's I feel like we could always be doing more of that as a group. And it always amazes me, I think it was Doc asked a few weeks back on one of our shows, how many people in the Ecamm community have done interviews, and there were so many of us who have done interviews, hosted them, but had never been a guest. So they had no idea what it was like being on the other side. So those are things that you can easily practice. And it's,
100%.
It's a great way to be able to do it in a place where we can laugh if things go wrong and we can walk through what's possible. We can all learn from each other. So yeah, hopefully everyone uses those resources. They're there for a reason, and people are really, really happy to help.
I laugh a lot.
That's how we all get through it. We have to laugh it through.
And that's the thing about interview
practical
mode.
tip. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. We do challenges. I do these challenges in our group as well for something like interview mode, because to me, interview mode will get you doing just about everything in Ecamm, because you have to set up an intro and outro. You set up your scenes. You set up your overlays. You set up your text stuff, clocks, bringing people in. You're on the other side. So pretty much everything. Most of the things in Ecamm you're gonna get done when you start doing interviews. So it's a real good practice just to practice that part, because sometimes people want to get to the, where were you born and what have you done your whole life and what is, as opposed to doing all of that for your interview. Learn how to turn the darn thing on first. Learn how to, because sometimes even ringing in, some people haven't even experienced that. Some people haven't experienced comments and stuff like that. Comments are exciting when you get your first comment. Do you remember your first comment? It's exciting.
That's a great question.
Yeah, I don't know if I do remember my first one.
I do. You'll see it later.
Was it Paul?
Oh my God, no. You don't want to see the comments that we have to each other.
Yes, I do.
Oh my God, we're funny together.
But let me just come back to what you said, Katie, about making sure that you know what it's like to be a guest before you go live, because that's something I think is really important to emphasize. And if people take one thing away from this section, is make sure that you know what it's like to be a guest. Because it's like, for myself as a professor too, like I need to remember what it's like to be a student. And when you do that, you'll realize how different it is. And the biggest takeaway from me of being a guest is knowing that you can't look at yourself like we're used to when we're going live, because there's a little bit of a delay and your audio and your video are not in sync. So you can't look at that. You'll get thrown off track. So it's important to know that, to be able to coach your guests through that, and just to even know how to navigate the screens and what people see and the guest chat boxes and all of that. So definitely I'm 100% advocating for everybody to know what it's like to be a guest before you go live.
Yeah,
like this.
Yes, like Val and I are doing today, right? For sure.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
One other thing about audio that I forgot to mention, when I was recording an audio only course for public speaking, I realized that almost every time before I start speaking, I go, so it's called mouth noise. And I didn't, I don't know, wasn't even aware. It's one of these like unconscious, subconscious things that happen. So little things like that to help you get more polished with time, that at first you just have no idea. Or I would maybe do like, take a big deep breath and then talk and into the camera and stuff. So just little things like that can help you. And I think one of my very first live streams, I was really sick, but I didn't want to cancel the live. And so I was playing my countdown timer, didn't know my microphone wasn't muted in that scene. And I was like, let me get all my coughing out now before the countdown clock ends. So I'm coughing mega loud. And I didn't want to show you a clip of that, because nobody needs to hear me hacking on this live right now, but you can all imagine the situation. I had somebody in the comments say, just want you to know we can hear you. And I was like, thank you very much. So I always check to make sure that microphone is muted in that countdown scene or in any of the scenes where I don't
went through that. I didn't know you went through that too. What?
Oh, here we go. There we go. Val,
the coughing attack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Coughing attacks, that's actually a good one to call out, because I feel like that one is easy to forget, and there are a couple different things that you can do to prep. I had a recent experience where I was a guest on someone else's video podcast, and I was supposed to be like on as a video podcasting expert. And this studio space is like a really big, it used to be a yoga studio, and our like fridge and coffee maker and everything is on the other side of the room. So like I can't easily access anything when I'm actively streaming. And I didn't put a cup of water next to me, or a bottle of water or whatever. I'm not normally the kind of person that gets dry mouth or like feels like I need it. And I completely had a coughing attack, and she was so generous. She was like, she was like, if you need to get up and like get a glass of water. And I looked across and it's like, it feels like a mile away, right? And our coffee maker is like next to like a giant bottle of like fancy alcohol that we brought in at one point to celebrate. And I was like, the only like easy accessible thing is this like giant bottle of that. So it's like, there are things to think about, right? And I still like right now, I don't have a bottle of water next to me, but if it's a really important stream, yeah, see, these two do, right? But like if it's a really important stream or there's something, it's not a bad idea to just prep your space as well as all of the tech stuff, because even if you're really quick to the mute button and you're able to kind of not have those sounds come out, like you're still delaying the stream or holding up the interview or stopping the content from being created while you're doing it. So solving it as quickly as possible is a good idea.
That's one category we did not get to. Maybe we'll put that under that miscellaneous stuff, but there's so much physical preparation that goes into live streaming too. Yeah. I want to show you another video example here and see if you can pick up on what the mistake was, because it's there, but it's not so obvious. And then I'll be curious what you guys think.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is time to get our Learn On.
Val, Katie, what do you think I did wrong there?
Go ahead, Katie. Wait,
I was going to say, Katie? Ended your countdown timer early? Like clicked out of the scene too quick?
Well, yes, 100%. And then I'm looking down, and then I was like, so if I were to freeze frame on that moment, it's like my eyes of panic, like, oh. Now, Adrian Salisbury did this too, but he handled it much better. So I want to show you the way I want to handle this moving forward when this happens to me.
Oh, wow, looks like we're starting.
That'll teach me. Playing with a new.
I remember
just start laughing. That is a much better way to go about it.
But you see, like things like that it feels like, again, I know because I have been through a million of these moments. It feels scary, but that example is fantastic because it shows you the power of just of rolling with it and being like, oh, that's it. Like, that's silly and funny. They laugh for a couple of seconds and then they get into the content. No one thinks less of them for that. No one thinks that they're like, oh my goodness, those two are not professionals. Like, no one is thinking less of you for those kinds of experiences. So if you can train yourself to have a reaction like that, I mean, Tatiana, your reaction also wasn't all as bad as you thought. You managed to pretty quickly get through that. But getting through that, however you're able to. But yeah, I feel like sometimes we overthink, or we think that if we laugh about it or if we call it out, that it'll be like some huge thing. It's not a huge thing. People, those are the memorable moments in many cases where, someone is like, oh, that was such a fun stream, or that was like, is so relatable, right? Like, this is something that happens to everyone. These people are regular people. They go through all the same things that happen to the rest of us.
Yeah. And
I always laugh.
You gotta laugh. Yeah.
I laugh.
And then YouTube allows you to trim videos too. So you could always just cut it out later if it's, if you feel like, or just leave it, whatever. But, you can always take something like that and take it out if it was like a big deal. But
girl, if I start cutting out all the stuff that I did, there wouldn't be a video left.
2 seconds of footage. Yeah. Same.
Yeah, that's it.
And Doc is saying just kill the countdown timer altogether, which I'm wondering, like, is that really? I mean, I used to do like a longer one. Now I'm just like, a few seconds is fine. But I feel like I need that moment before going live to like mentally prepare. I just need like a few seconds. So I find it helpful on our end. I don't know how great it is from a practice standpoint or not. But
oh God, let me tell you about Paul Duncan. See, nobody knows our relationship, so I have to be nice right now. But when we're doing our stream, he would count down. If we had a few, because I always kept a shorter timer, but at that last like 20, 15 seconds, he's counting 15, 14, 13. I'm like, Paul, would you just shut up? Because I'm still scrambling trying to get it. Like, Valerie, are you ready? He's got that voice. So it's like, I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, he does have an excellent voice.
But he scares me to death. I mean, seriously, I would be so scared and crazy. And then as soon as it get on, as soon as as soon as we actually are live, I'm like, hi everyone. Da 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 da. It's like, but if you had seen that 5 seconds before,
it's like scramble the panic. Yeah,
it is not cute.
It's not cute. I love it.
Paul feels a little kind of way over here that his name is getting thrown around and a lot of banter going on today.
What you gonna
No
do? What you
Pauls
gonna
were
do?
hurt in the making of this video. Oh my goodness, I love it.
Let's I want to mention some external things that go wrong with folks. And one that I heard from a live streamer that I met through Roy, Tech Troublemaker, her name is Claire. And she mentioned, and like I asked her a question in the comments, and she mentioned that this one time she was going live, an alarm starts going off and she didn't know where it was coming from. And because it's going on and on, she's got to go find it and figure this thing out. So I learned, I should have a scene that says, be right back or something like that for moments like this. It's just like, oh, you know what? Let me turn that alarm off. Hang tight for a second. Be right back screen comes on. I go take care of it and come back, because these like external things can happen. And I think I saw somebody in the comment, was it Martin? Maybe he might have mentioned getting an Amazon delivery or some kind of a package or something.
Sure. I'm scrolling back to see if I can find it.
I feel like, and I think that it was MacGyver's the account that he has it under now.
I can do search. MacGyver. Yep. Yeah, here he says, I was on live with a VIP and presenting to a whole bunch of people, and the Amazon guy arrived with a new TV. I tried to ignore him, but he just kept ringing the bell and hammering the door. So this is the problem. I will share a recent one. Paul was on the stream with me, so he can laugh about this one. So I do a video podcast with my best friend for fun on Thursday nights. And usually I'm doing it like right about the same time that my kids are going to bed, but my husband is normally home to put the kids to bed. This time he wasn't. He was out. And so I went downstairs before and I was like, hey, I'm going to jump onto the stream. I'm doing my podcast. Like, if the door is closed, do not come in. I'm going to go up there at about 8:30 and then I do my sound check and then I'll be live at 9. Do not come into the room. They're like, no problem. Like, get to bed, whatever. So I'm doing the sound check. It's still before 9 and there's like a knock at the door. So I tell everyone, I'm like, okay, hang on a second. I'm going out to scold them for doing this. I walk out and they're like, there's a bat downstairs. There's a bat flying around downstairs.
Oh my.
So I'm like, I'll be right back. All right. So I step down. It's still not 9 o'clock. I go downstairs. I'm looking everywhere. There's this adorable, the cutest, tiniest scared bat flying around. It's it's in a contained room. So I say to the kids, no problem. Dad's going to be home in an hour. I'm just going to close the door. You guys go to bed. The bat will be contained. Everything will be fine. So they're like, okay. They go back up. I start the podcast. I'm 10 minutes into the podcast. We run normally for an hour. And the door is cracked open. And my 8-year-old is standing on the other side of the door, just sobbing, quiet sobbing. And I just ignored this child for probably 40-ish minutes, just standing at the door. And I'm sure people could probably see her in the background and the feeling and breathing. I finally get all the way, done the podcast and go and talk to her. And she's like, I thought the bat would die of starvation. I thought he was going to die of starvation in the room. And I was like, this is not something that is going to happen. But all of these things are possible, even with the best possible planning, even with contingencies, the weirdest possible things are going to happen. And you just have to make decisions on how to deal with it. In that moment, she's not hurt. There's nothing that's going to happen to her, and I could have paused everything, gotten up, put up a be right back screen, gotten up and talked to her, but I didn't have one at the ready. So like you said, there's things that you can learn from all these different situations, but literally anything is possible.
Yeah. You never imagined you're going to say that bat there.
You're better than I am, Katie. That bat. No, I'm not going to say anything else.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say it was after your chickens or something.
No, not after my chickens. And then my other favorite one, which I think I've shared before on these kinds of streams, and I was not fast enough to get a video clip of it, but I'll try to find a clip to post and share with people later, is I was on, I was doing an interview on one of Kevin Colby's shows. And again, I'm like the professional from a live streaming and video production company. And we were in the middle of a sound check, and everything in the sound check went fine. And then the format of the show was that like he was doing an intro, and I was kind of sitting backstage, and I was going to come on like at the 10-minute mark. So I'm sitting there, I'm waiting. And then I realized that my computer wasn't plugged in and was low on battery. And so I was like, oh, I'll grab my computer cable. So as he's like talking, he's live, he's on the show, but I'm just like waiting in the wings. I look down and I'm like, oh, my cable like isn't here. And I was like, I'm gonna run downstairs and get it. So I ran like a crazy person. Like I dropped everything and ran downstairs to get the cable. I run all the way back up, and I get back to my computer, and there's just the full screen of my like empty chair and Kevin in like the corner, picture in picture. And he's like, Katie? So, he had gone like over live to me, and I completely wasn't there. And we still laugh about that, to this moment. And I'm winded, and because I run down to get it. I totally thought I had enough time. And it was so stupid, like thinking back about that now. I'm like, why did I think that would be a good idea? But it, again, like these kinds of things happen. They happen when you they think they're going to work out and it doesn't work out, and it ended up being fine. Like the stream wasn't any like less helpful than it could have been. We were able to turn that part off. We still laugh about it today. It's a good example of like ridiculous green things I shouldn't have done, but it's important.
It happens. It happens. I know. Like
new item on Katie's checklist: check for bats and spinach. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That is funny.
Yeah, add it to your checklist
for sure. Let's switch over and talk a little bit about interviewing. I have 2 videos to show you back to back from AG and from Robin. So let me show you guys these.
The privilege of interviewing one Paul Duncan. I had meticulously set up everything, or so I thought. So when it was time to go live and I brought Paul on, lo and behold, the camera was not set properly. So I had to scramble and set the camera up, and then I brought him on.
Epic fails. Okay, let's go. So I hosted different guests, experts, and one of the ones that was most memorable in my mind was that the guest from England didn't have his mic on. He was on mute. He didn't look at the private chat to know he was on mute. Number 3, on his presentation, he was in thumbnail mode, not full screen, but because he wasn't able to hear us or watch us, he had no idea about that.
All of us have been there with interviewing mistakes. One that I've done is having everything ready in advance or copying over a scene, and then in that one scene I had the wrong name for the guest.
Yeah.
So, my guest Lara becomes Jason. And it's like, actually, that's not their name. And I've had it happen to me as well, where I've been a guest and I'm somebody else's name. So I'll make a joke like, "Ooh, new personality, new identity," or something. Just try to find ways to laugh. But when it comes to interviewing, we would probably have to do a totally separate live stream to talk about all the things that can go wrong during that. But one thing I do want to say, and I'm curious how you guys feel about this. If this is a mistake that you do, I think that it is something you definitely have to work on ASAP. And that's if you interrupt your guest a lot or talk over them, almost like you don't let them shine, probably because you're very excited and you want to contribute, but talking over and not giving them the space to really be the highlight of the show, I think is a real mistake that we can work on to help ourselves become much better hosts.
Yeah. I think I'm sure I've probably done that at one point or another, or probably continue to do that here and there. I think sometimes a lot of that comes from nerves too, where you're really nervous that, you're going to forget questions, or that the interview's not going the way that you want it to, or, everything in between. But it's a constant. I think interviewing is not easy. Because everyone has that so accessible these days, it makes it feel like it's easier than it is, and it's not. It's a skill set that you have to develop, and it takes a lot of time and effort, and it's not as simple as just writing up questions and having great software and showing up. You have to it takes practice to get better at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, something you continue to work on. I mean, I still take classes, content, courses. So much of it is about listening and conversation skills. I know Doc had offered one. I signed up for that, met a bunch of great people.
Yeah.
So constantly building up our interviewing skills.
I'm sorry, I was laughing at
Val.
Paul.
Val
I'm
talks.
interrupting you now. I'm laughing at Paul. Val always talks over me at home. And I don't know if anybody understands that. If you've ever seen the movie Airplane, that's what, you know.
Ah,
she
he's
never has
quoting
a second cup
movies.
of coffee at home.
Gotcha.
Sure has.
Yeah. Paul,
Sure
I'm gonna get you. We're on in a couple hours. I'm gonna get you. But keep going. Keep going.
If we can chat about mindset, I don't have any videos to show about this. This is just something like I feel very strongly to talk about this part because it can mess everything up before we've even touched a dial or a screen or a button or anything. And so I just wanted to ask you guys to share, what do you think is an important thing about mindset for everyone? And in the chat too, what is a transformative piece that you tell yourself when it comes to your mindset about live streaming? I'm really curious what everyone in the community, what we're all thinking here. And if you're watching on replay, pop it in the comments too.
Yeah.
Mindset, how do you guys feel about it?
Oh my gosh, it's such a big topic. I think a lot of it is understanding what you're trying to accomplish with what you're doing and trying to remain focused on that. So like the reality of this entire stream and live streaming in general is that the medium introduces a ton of opportunities for things to go wrong and for complications to happen. So knowing that up front is really important for your overall mindset. And then also understanding and learning as you go the ways to deal with challenges as they come up is going to help contribute to your overall mindset. And then always remembering, and I feel like it was either Diana or Luria, but I believe both of them would say this again if it wasn't the original person who said this to me. But when I first started at Ecamm, I was tasked with doing this series of interviews with a lot of our kind of experts and influencers that we were working with. And I think it was Luria had said to me that like, you just need to focus on the fact that you're here to help other people. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about the mistakes you make or the wins that you have. You just need to be able to deliver the content and the value that helps the person on the other end. So like for me, it's about showing people how to be better at video. It's about showing people how to be more confident on video, how to, use the features and the tools in Ecamm to be able to grow their businesses and accomplish their goals. So if I screw up along the way, but I still help someone hit that goal or make them feel more comfortable or make them feel included and they want to learn more about the software, I've hit that goal. And I need to be constantly focused on that instead of all of the things that could go wrong or, all of my own feelings in the day. And I think those things are really easy to forget when you get busy or when things get stressful or when things go wrong. So I would encourage everyone to do this one thing that I learned from Brian Fanzo. Sorry for all the name dropping today, but I learned from every single person that I work with. But Brian said he always has a folder saved on his computer, and I think even a physical space or folder in his home called the folder of awesomeness. Everyone needs a folder of awesomeness. Every time that someone says something nice about you, tells you that you've done really well with a project, says hey, that stream was really helpful, shows up in the comments and says hey, it's so great to be here today. I love spending time with you. Screenshot that, save that, remember that, put that into the folder so that when you are having those days where everything feels like it's going wrong or you just don't really know why you're doing this thing and you're not feeling like you're hitting your goals, open up that folder because I guarantee you that you've done things that you feel good about. You've made other people feel great. You've hit those goals. It just doesn't always feel that way. So that helps me a ton. And I have a growing folder of awesomeness. So
yes, Katie, I have one too. And mine is, there's a digital version and then there's a physical version and it's called the encouragement file, but same exact concept. Yep. And then you dig into it when you're like, man, what is up with my mood right now? And then you just remember that the people that you have helped, and at least that's valuable to me too.
Yeah,
love it.
Do you guys want to read some of the comments in the chat? What people are saying about mindset?
Yeah. So David says, focus on serving if I can help somebody. Yeah, Doc says, worrying about failing is all about you and your ego, not about your audience, which is like huge. Doc, yeah, also saying why, who are you streaming? Who are you helping? Who are you servicing? I'm just scrolling back through. There's one for you, Val, for your for your awesomeness folder. And Val is excellent at giving people their space to complete thoughts. Yeah, like it, you know, like it's yeah, it's important. It's important. Better yet, if I can help the person that I'm purposed to serve. Yeah, there's so many amazing opportunity, like the technology is moving so quickly and there's so many amazing opportunities for us to be out there doing our thing and, you know, fulfilling our goals and following our passions. But it's really like, it's just really important to remember that it can also be draining and it can be like, it can be a lot and a lot of challenges can come out of it. So I don't know. It's not easy to stay positive all the time, but I think your mindset is going to make a really big difference, and how you respond to things is going to make a big difference, even in just keeping you encouraged and moving forward.
JJSC Tech made a really good point saying, I don't have control over everything. As long as I'm not underprepared and checked the checklist boxes, then it is what it is. That issue of control, I think, is a powerful topic too. There is a lot that's in our control, but also a lot that's out of control. So I think his point is, as long as we've done the preparation, then we can move forward with mistakes or without. And selfishly, I brought this up because I've been struggling a lot lately with the mindset of going live, where I kind of felt like I was floundering and everything felt really heavy. And the big discovery, and this just happened on Friday, so not even a week ago, I realized that the reason this was feeling so heavy and no longer fun for me is because I really couldn't see my audience. And it was a conversation with another fellow Ecammer, Claudio Sennhauser, who asked me a couple of questions that really got me thinking about this and to identify, what do I love to do the most and who will value what I do the most? Because in my effort to help so many people, because that's truly what I would love, right? I want to contribute to something bigger than myself and have legacy and meaning and invest in other people. But you can't do it with everybody. So I was trying to go too big, too broad to too many people. And so just making that discovery of having a target audience now to focus on really has helped me. And I'm, again, this is hot off the press because it's only been a couple of days, a few days that I'm doing this, but it already feels lighter and I feel like I can have more fun with it, knowing how I can craft my content for a specific group of people and I know how I can help them.
Yeah. Oh, that's huge. I'm
That's
happy to
awesome.
hear that, because it is, it can
makes a
be
difference.
a lot. It does. Yeah, it absolutely makes a difference. And it's I feel like lately I just keep saying over and over and over again to myself and out loud, I'm like, it's an iterative process. It's not like it's a marathon. It's something where it's not going to be like the next day and I've won and like check the box and we're moving on. It's something that you're constantly like making small changes at, getting a little bit better every single time that you do it, you know, really just doing your best to take small steps to move forward. And I think sometimes I lose that, where I'm like, I'm always checking boxes and being like, I just like, you know, done, next thing, done, next thing, done, next thing. And I kind of forget, like, no, I should be like reviewing, kind of learning from this and seeing how I can just make it a little bit better instead of crossing it off as something that's completely done and I've, you know, moving fully on to the next thing.
I love this, what Doc was saying. If your audience is everybody, your audience is nobody. Oh, you just put it up there.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair. And it's hard for me to accept that because
and that's an ego thing.
Help everybody.
That's an ego thing, though. When you decide that everybody's my audience. Well, no, that's not true.
Wow. Yeah. So I would like to say that the process of going live, there's a tech side, there's an emotional side to it as well, right? It's learning the technology, it's understanding your own values, your personality. There's just so many elements to it, but we have got to be laughing at ourselves, normalizing mistakes, making it okay, using the supportive community that we have to be practicing behind the scenes, to to have all these fails and firsts and to have some fun together and to give ourselves grace too, even when stuff goes wrong. Like I've seen people that are considered like Ecamm celebrities pretty much make some major mistakes too. It's like, and it's good for me to see that, you know, it's good for me to see that. It's like, yeah, what happens to everybody. And so what? You just keep going. Like, do for 1 second, would I think any less of them? No. So why do I think that would happen to me? Like people would just suddenly like, I'm never talking to her. She made a mistake on the you know, like it's a ridiculous thought to have. But I think if we can just acknowledge that we have these crazy limiting beliefs, these erroneous thoughts, and we can still have fun and give ourselves grace and give other people grace, then I think we just keep making progress and keep moving on.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been so much fun. And I so appreciate all of you. The comment box is full. I was moving so quickly. I didn't even get to see all of them, but I definitely will go back and check through them. And if you're watching this on replay, as we said earlier, please drop your comments and your thoughts and your experiences into the comments. We'd love to be able to see them and chat with you and answer them later. If you're brand new to this whole Ecamm thing and you're like, I haven't live streamed before, or I haven't used Ecamm before, you can join us in our community. It's ecamm.tv/community. That's a Facebook group. If you prefer Discord, you can join us ecamm.tv/Discord. You're welcome in either space, even if you've never opened Ecamm, but you want to learn more about live streaming and you're like, I just want a safe space or some people to chat with. We'd love to hang out with you. Val is rocking it over on Ecamm Live Academy, which is a paid membership course. It's like a really unique, awesome, special experience that Adrian Salisbury and his team run twice a year. We always have information about that as it gets a little bit closer, but Adrian Salisbury is incredible, and Val and Paul do such a great job. You guys do such a great job with that group, and it really is like, if you're like, oh, I need to take a deeper dive, it's just a really like a nice space to really spend a bit like of a deeper time getting to really know people better. Because like you were saying, Tatiana, sometimes it's hard. Like when you're not face to face with people and you're not, sometimes you want kind of a smaller, tighter knit group. And I get that. We have, thousands of people in the Ecamm community, which is amazing. But sometimes it's nice to break into a smaller group and be able to really get to know people a little bit deeper.
Yeah. Well, this is my first.
Look, fail.
Microphone.
Don't break that mic. Don't break that mic.
Was that a mic drop, Val? Was that an actual mic drop?
Doc says you were a problem student, and now look at you.
No, well, and thank God for Doc too, because Doc made me do some stuff that I would have never done, where I just went for the Instagram thing. He's like, Valerie, you should do this. He said, first he started with 10 days. I'm like, okay, I'll do 7. He said, then you should go for 30 days doing blah, blah. I'm like, no, I'll give you 7. And so, but because he challenged me that day, I started like either that day or the next day. I went on Instagram, something I didn't know nothing about. I asked my son to help me. My son, okay, Mom, I'll help you. That little monster helped me for 2 days, and then he was out. He wouldn't even answer the phone anymore. He's like, I think she's like, I did it. I'm not answering the phone. But because of Doc, I ended up going on there, instead of doing the 7, I ended up doing like 63 days.
Wow.
Something I never thought I would do. But sometimes it just takes people to just say, it's okay. Just do it. Sometimes you just need that. And I needed that at that time. So thank you, Doc.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. It like, I was scrambling right before this stream to try to find some like video clips of some of the earlier streams that I had done to be able to show. And I didn't make it in time, newsflash, but I was watching through a few of them and I'm like, oh, wow. Like it's important to go back and check like the things that you have done, like the video quality, like even my tone of voice, you can see like the stress in some of those earlier streams. Like we've all come a long way. Even if you're on day 3, you've come a long way. If you've done nothing but, open your phone and record a couple of videos just for you, you've made a difference. You've made a couple of those steps. So don't forget that. Go back and rewatch a couple of those. Go back and take a look at some of, we joke about this all the time, but like all those like huge YouTubers and amazing live streamers who've been doing it for forever that we all idolize and are impressed with everything that they've done. Go back to their first video. It's public. It's there. Go back to their oldest video and take a look. everyone starts somewhere, right? So we forget that when we see how polished and how incredible a lot of these videos look. It's super important for us to go back to the beginning and say, hey, we all start somewhere and everyone is moving forward at their own pace. So
yeah, my first video was a mess. It was a mess.
Oh my gosh. But I finally talked myself into doing it. It was still a mess. Yeah, it's not easy.
No, I don't think your mess was bigger than my mess. I don't think so. We should have a contest.
Oh,
we should have a contest.
Val, you wanted us to save one video for last, which was the green screen one for you.
Oh my
So
my first.
let's
That was
show
my
that.
first video.
And then,
all right, here we go.
And then I want to say
Okay.
one last thing after that, but let me show you. Let me just grab.
And don't
this
judge
one.
me.
No
okay?
one, no
Here we
judgment.
go.
Judge-free zone.
Here we go.
Hey. Why am I giggling already? I'm Valerie. Nice to see you all. This is my first time going on. This feels really crazy. But it's okay, because if everybody's doing it, I have to do it too. I mean, whatever.
You did great. You did great.
I had green screen monster teeth on my very first video, thinking
At first,
that
I thought it
doing
was
something.
braces, Val. I thought it was braces. And then I was like, oh,
No,
it's the green screen.
straight up green screen. That's why I don't like green screen. That's why Doc don't like green screen. Okay, there's no green screen.
There's no green screen. Be careful with the green screen.
And then some of you guys might remember that big giant Janet Jackson situation with the outfit failure. What was it called? What was the term everybody talked about? It was a wardrobe malfunction.
Wardrobe
It was
malfunction,
a
yeah.
wardrobe malfunction.
Mhm.
Val, has anything like that ever happened to you?
Inquiring minds want to know.
Okay, real quick, because I know we're way at the end. I
you're
I
good.
like to sport my Ecamm stuff, so I always have my Ecamm hoodie when I'm doing the sessions or whatever. But I had a new one, and I wanted to. But I had a T-shirt, so I thought, and so I wanted to show the group. I'm like, okay, guys, look, I'm wearing my new Ecamm stuff, and I started to unzip it, straight up boobs everywhere, and I straight. I said, oh my, if I had gone down just a little bit further, everything would have been showing, because I thought I was showing my Ecamm t-shirt, but there was nothing under there. There was nothing.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
Val,
sorry,
that's
guys. I
great.
didn't mean to. I almost showed you. I almost flashed you.
That
Sorry.
is incredible. Oh, yeah.
But what do? You keep going. You
You
gotta
keep
keep
going. You just got to keep
gotta
going.
Keep going.
Gotta keep going for sure.
You're
And
like,
if
she's
I could just
crazy.
say,
Let's keep it moving. Mm-hmm.
if I could just express my appreciation for both of you, Katie,
Oh,
Val,
gosh,
this
same.
entire community, because many of us have been on we go through this trajectory. It's kind of like we hear about Ecamm from somebody, then we go to Adrian Salisbury, and it's like, wow, this British guy's awesome. And then we're like, ooh, there's all these other people. Ooh, there's Anna and Fulgens, my favorite dynamic duo. Let me check these two out. Ooh, are they together? Oh, yes, they are. They're engaged. Like, we go through getting to know everybody. I'm like, I like these people. And then people start commenting and chiming in. And then you meet Marshall and you meet Doc. And I'm sorry if I'm forgetting people, because it's just off the top of my head right now. But then also, you join a couple groups, you make a couple comments, you go to some lives, people start noticing your name and they start saying hello. And even though I have met none of you
yet
out in this real world, the connections are meaningful and important to me. And I can't wait for Ecamm Creator Camp in October, where we actually do get to meet. But even if I couldn't come to camp, just the fact that the community is so welcoming, is so kind and genuine. And I have made so many connections. And I mean, my Ben, he always tells me that I'm Ecamm crazy. And I'm like, yes, I am. Yes, I am Ecamm crazy. So I just want to say thank you, because it has made an environment that can feel so lonely and difficult, so beautiful and exciting. And the fact that our message today is, let's normalize mistakes and have some fun doing it, is really important. And I hope that was a big takeaway for everyone watching, that we all make them and we can still laugh about them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
You better
don't
laugh.
make me
Yeah, you
cry.
better.
I love
Thank you,
it.
Tatiana. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for inviting me. I appreciate you. And
Oh my
and you too,
gosh.
Katie.
Oh,
You're cool.
this is so much fun. I know.
You know I love
can't.
you, Katie. Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, well, from all of us here to all of you, we will see you on the next stream. If you missed it at the very beginning, here we go again. Oh, wait, I'm blocking names. The secret code is team
guys.
meet the fam, all one word. You want to swing over to ecamm.tv/giveaway23. Win the prize. Tatiana is like one of the winningest people I've ever met. So you may have a hard time getting by her. If she's entered, it's game over for everyone else. But there's still lots of chances.
I'm going to stop participating so
it.
other people can win.
No, you're good. No. But yeah, lots of chances to win and lots more fun stuff coming up this month because we're just going to appreciate the heck out of all of you all month long. It's been really fun. Thank you so much
and thank
to you
to
both.
everyone in the comments too.
Yeah.
Everybody's chiming in and saying such great things. Helps us feel like,
fun stream.
You know,
great
fun times.
show. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much to everyone. And we will chat again next time. Bye, everyone.
Ciao, guys. Great talking with you.